Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith, the Smith the Black Channel here at Ticker Talker with the Strat Time Report on Friday. We got the grindy Grinderson market, but here's what we're going to be looking at. There's a few things you want to look at on a Friday. And for one, what's happening? For right now, you can see here's our broadening formation on the daily. We had an inside day yesterday. 2, 1, 2 reversal off the inside day, right? So that's where you're seeing this just grind back up because you have conflict with the week, which is still red, but it's the end of the week, right? So you always want to see what's the next two. What are we lining up for next week, right? So far, we're trying to retake that opening of the month. But you're going to see, depending on where we close, we're going to be right dead in the middle of this thing. How are you going to take this thing out? You're going to take out the highs again, or are you going to come down and take this out? So right now, when you talk about time frame continuity, where the month is red, the week is red, I'm like, how could you go long? There's something called control, right? And who's in control? The 60 is always in control, right? It's a matter of how much control it has, because we're identifying participation groups by price and time, right? So if the day is green and the 60 is green, I can't identify the longer term sellers. They're not here as far as I can tell. And if they are, they're not as aggressive as the buyers because the buyers are taking the offer, right? They're buying it up. And there's things you can hear me say repeat. The market's going to trade in the direction of the most twos, which is taking out one side of the previous range, right? Or failed twos going three, right? And continuity. Right now, and I'm going to show you a scan in a few minutes, almost everything is two up on the day, right? That's tough to reverse. It's a simultaneous break in almost everything. There's another thing that I'll say is that, when people come and start out with me, to how do you start out trading the strat? And I said, stick on the 30 and 60 minute gaps, right? And so if you go there, you're going to see this. Pubum, Pubmatic. Now here, on the 60, you're going to see this. Gaps up, right? And then boom, this is a 2 up. This is a 2-2 reversal on the 60 when it takes this out because this took out that high and then boom, right here below here. 36.50, right? So that's not bad. That's almost $3 down into here, right? And oftentimes I'll tell people after you do that, just leave. Get your stop in there because you've got your full time frame continuity. When that happened, even though it gapped up, as soon as this went red and the day went red, you were red on the week and you were red on the month and you were an inside month to the downside. This, although it gapped up, still had full time frame continuity to the downside. That's something you want to look for when that happens. And then you can go do something else for the rest of the day and then come back and say, oh, I made $3 out of that. Not bad. So just a couple other things that we look before I get to the scan part, because one of the things I've told you many times is like I need a chart to tell you what the market's doing. I can do it through scanning, but let's just look at a few here before I do that. AFRM. Because right now, well, let's go back to the Qs. Let's make sure we cover all the broader averages. So Qs also inside day and up, right? That's a 2-1-2 reversal on the daily. Now the question is, when we close this out, how are you going to get outside of this week next week? That's what we want to know about, right? And do we re-break this on the month? That 322.81, we're now back up into it, right? That's a key level there. And then how are you not going to be an inside week next week? That's what we want to know about coming into next week. If you go to small cappers, inside day to the upside. Almost everything's doing that. 2-1-2, right? That's very difficult to reverse. Still stuck in here. You took that inside month down, but now you're back into the range. So now you're a 2-month inside ranger. How are you going to get outside of this week next week is what we're going to want to know about. If we go to the diamonds, here, inside day, 2-1-2. Inside day back to the upside. How are you going to get out of this week? You had an outside week in the diamonds, right? You're green on the month. The question is, how are you going to get outside of that? How are you going to what's the next two out of that? Because you're not really near that nor that. So hopefully this doesn't really dry up into a bunch of inside weeks next week, but you never know. If we take a look at AFRM, something we look for, right? Now, granted, the month is red, but your exhaustion risk because you're going into new lows, right? Turning that week back green so you can see here, inside day, pokes down slightly, 1, 2, 2, bam, right? These two become an outside bar of that. Now, if you're lucky, even more. So far, AFRM having that rev strat nice. If you go to RH, in RH, what's this? 2, 1, 2, right? It is. Then once again, going forward. So for today, a bunch of this stuff should stay somewhat firm. You mind the 60 like we always do, but almost everything is a 2 up and heavily 2, 1, 2 with the inside days to the upside, as I'm going to show you in just a second. If you go to Dash and Dash E, and Dash having a nice little morning, and this is what we call pivot machine gun, coming back through this stuff. Anybody who's short can be short against that. We know what they told them. I'm short against the pivot, or where they got in. Boom, take them all out in one shot and give me that outside week. So we'll see if that sets up again. There you go. This is a nice little inside 15 right here. Probably even a 30 in there if I take a look. There you go. You're inside 30. 2, 1, 2 directional move. Still going as the Dash. If you go to AVIR, and AVIR, the bottom picker special, and you can see this here, slight higher high, slight lower low, boom, 2-2 reversal back up, and this tight range needed to grow. It did. It's a matter of whether it gets bigger and give us the outside week during the afternoon and keeps going. If we go to DDS, and DDS just took off like right out the chute, 30. And so here's exactly how you play this. All right, if you're not fast enough to get in on something like this, you wait. All right, patience is a very important part of this game. Let it set up. There's your 2 up by taking out the high. 2 down, that tells you to start looking for a reversal. 2 down, taking out previous low. 2 down, taking out previous low. 2 down, taking out previous low. Boom, 2-2 reversal, you're in right here. 121.96. Trading 124.66 in 8 minutes. There you go. $3 in 8 minutes. We'll take that. If you go to Facebook, once again, if something works, what will it leave us? Remember, I talked about this as like playing pool, right? You don't just trade and get it over with. You don't just shoot the ball in the hole. You want to leave yourself another shot. So if Facebook works here, depending on how you get in, inside 30, whatever, what does that leave you with? It leaves you with potential rev strat week. Inside bar, pokes down, boom, and you're closer to taking out this weekly high next week coming into that Facebook. So as always, we'll be in the weekend vid. If we go to IBB, which in general is doing nothing, right? You have this inside month and double insider just kind of stuck in here, and just been really stuck in here on this weekly. As you can see that. But for shorter term setups, you can still play stuff like this when you see it. The inside bar here, the poke down, boom, the rev strat. Guess where the stops were? Here, here, and here. And your hopes to take out that and maybe up into there, but we'll see by the end of the day. If we go to Netflix. So Netflix, so far all 3 of these days are inside of this, right? That's a bit of a problem. But the reason it has our attention is that because we recognize this broadening formation. So the question is this expanding it to the downside, or does it come ripping back through? So you don't necessarily have to be the first guy in to grab this inside day. If this thing starts working its way through here, like the NASDAQ starts recovering next week, we'll know about that because broadening formations, because outside bars exist. Here it is on a weekly basis. So when I say broadening formations will be an outside bar, or an outside bar has a broadening formation on a shorter time frame, this is what I mean. There's your outside bar. Take out both sides. It'll look like that. Higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low. Now lower low. So the question is, does it come ripping back through here for a higher high? Well, we'll pay attention to it if it starts doing that. If we go to Moderna doing that thing. Inside bar on the day, pokes down, boom, rev strat. You got some more day left. See if you can get yourself an inside 30 here. Would be very nice. A little grindy like a lot of things here, but we'll see. Also going to be an inside week. So this will be interesting too because we had an outside week, take out both sides 2 weeks ago, and then an inside week this week. See what they want to do next week. If we go to SNPS, and just another inside day to the upside, right? And what's that going to leave you with? Potential hammer on the week. That's good because a lot of these monthlies are still challenged, but you can override them with the weeklies and the dailies and the 60s. So you can see here, it took out last month's highs, and then or the previous month's highs, then last month's lows, right? It wasn't weak enough to take that out, right? And that's what we're keeping an eye on because remember the SMH with those Qs is a two up, two down reversal on the month, and the week still blood red. So albeit SMH having a nice day, still have not reversed on the week, right? That's something we're going to be paying attention to next week for sure. If we go to DRI, and DRI with the inside day 212 to the upside, right? What's that going to leave me with? Not much on the week, right? So that'll a bit of a challenge here coming into next week, how we don't go inside weeks on a bunch of this stuff, but that's why we play the game. If we go to snow, in snow, once again here, let's see, I take out the highs. Yeah, this is an outside bar. Took it out yesterday and didn't go. And now coming off these lows and coming back through here. Having a nice little day like a lot of things, but I wanted to show you the scans. And so when I say that I can tell you what's going on, and where you want to be with the scan, as well as how things setting up, you're going to see this. So here, now if we go to, how many things are taking out yesterday's highs, right? Here, right? Here's what you're going to see. You're going to see your Apples. You're going to see Palantir, Plug, GE, CCL, DraftKings, Airlines, Macy's. You're going to see across the board massive Intel, a massive list of who's taking out yesterday's highs, correct? And so when I tell you that the market's going to trade in the direction of the most twos, this is what I'm talking about. And you can see it's Chevron, STX, Cisco, JP Morgan, General Motors, Lyft. You can see how diverse it is with names you've heard of, right? Morgan Stanley, me Steffies. We got Halliburton. You've got eBay. You've got NVIDIA. You got Moderna. You got Dow. Look at this list. Look at how massive this list is. PayPal, Nordstrom, Walmart, AbbVie. Almost everything, right, is taking out yesterday's highs. Now, if we go to here and search by volume, now give me everything taken out yesterday's lows. What does this list look like? It's Lilliputian comparatively. You see this? Disney. Pretty much all that you've ever heard of. Look at this garbage, right? There's almost nothing in here. CNI, Fox A, ABC. Notice the difference? That tells you what the market is doing, all right? I know that the market is going up because almost everything is twoing up. Then if you want to make sure that you're trading reversals, you go look for the inside nub to make sure you have one of those 212 reversals. And here's your hit list, right? Ford, Uber, Intel, UL, MU, Delta, Slob, General Motors, Morgan Stanley, TJ Maxx, Hewlett Packard, Visa. And you can see the list here is massive as well. Netflix, we know, all that kind of stuff. And then, since we're rallying back on a Friday, one of the things I want to look for is that RevStrat setup coming for next week. Who might that be? And there it is. Facebooky, GameStopy, right? And so knowing how to scan is going to help you to know exactly what the market's doing. I could have no charts and tell you that this market is going higher, right? I know that because unless you have a change on the 60s, right? Unless you get a reversal on these 60s, which you do not have, this market's going higher. Just so you know. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith of Smith and Black Channel here at Ticker Talker with Strat Time Report. Hope you all had a great week and have an even better weekend.